So giving up was never really an option for me. And it's not in the sense that I didn't want to give up, or it's like it really was never an option. In Woo's house. Yeah. Anyways, guys, let's get into it. Today's episode is, I don't know, it's a lot, but I hope you stay to the end and listen. Welcome to the God Like Gen Z podcast. Come on, it's Arinpeo. Yeshua. Alright. Let's get into it. Anyways, my story is one of, I don't even know, grace, God's favor. But before I tell you my story, I just want to let you know that God answers prayers. Like, you might think He's not listening, but He is listening. Like, He hears everything that you say, and He is listening. He's ready. He's working behind the scenes. Like, you know that song that even before I pray, my Jehovah answers me. No. There's a reason why that song, that line is there. Like, I relate so much to it because while you're still praying, while you're still even thinking it's like, when we pray about this thing, God has already answered. And then when you think nothing is really going on, He's already working behind the scenes for your good. So you might not see it, and it might not happen immediately, but He is doing it. Okay. Now, let me tell you my story. And as I said, it's one of grace. I'm trying to, look for the words to say, and I hope God helps me so that I can say it well, and hopefully it will help someone. So first off, I entered school in 2017. Now, if you've been following me, you know I just graduated. I graduated this July. And so, if you do the calculation, it didn't match up happy for a 4-year course. I did public health. Now, here's the thing. I entered my school when I entered uni. I entered uni, college, wherever you're listening from. So I entered university in 2017 for nursing science. Now, let me not even lie to myself. Like, I need to take responsibility for the parts I had to play in my academics at that point in time. I wasn't serious. Of course, it's easier to blame other people, like, oh, that person didn't help me. But to be honest, she came to school for herself, they came to school for themselves, and you came to school for yourself. So, girl, it's your fault. Anyways, I wasn't serious at all. I was going to classes, but I was hardly really listening. I was not hardly reading. And I'm the type of person that I have to listen in class, like at least to some part of it for me to be able to like read it and understand it. So I don't know how to cram. I only know how to read. I must read it and it must stay in my head. So most of the things that I've read, like if somebody's talking about it, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, this was something. But anyways, yeah, that's just how I am. So I wasn't doing any of that. I wasn't even putting effort. I'm about failing in my first semester, and usually in my school, you don't the school that I went to, my school, get it just. You usually don't see your first semester results until like you're way into your second semester. So I had already started, I had even slacked more in my second semester, and it was bad. It was really bad. And when my result came out and I saw it, I was like, Jesus is Lord. I have never felt like that in my life. I had carryover, and I was like, okay, it's not so bad. You can do that and everything. But it was already quite a little bit too late for me to start putting in effort. And it was a struggle, to be honest. I don't know. I think this will be part 1, part 2, something. But yeah, it was a struggle, to be honest. And let's just say I failed again. Now I'm saying it and I'm laughing because it's an obstacle that I've learned from and I've passed. I know that I can never be in that situation again in my life. If I'm in that situation again in my life, I'm stupid. That's just the God honest truth. Anyways, now my result comes out, and of course in my school you could do summer, so I was really going to do summer to do the carryovers that I already had, only for me to have more carryovers after. I'm like, Jesus is Lord. You are a queen of Yeshua. I was not a good shite before. Let me just tell you guys. And so instead of me telling my parents and my family that I don't feel again, I lied. So they didn't find out until like they had paid my school fees and I heard it. And it was something one of my siblings said and it stuck with me. I was like, Jesus, Finn, seriously? You know, wake up, you're not dumb. And to the level, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be serious. I remember throughout my 200 level, like people were not seeing me outside. I was a very active person, so you can imagine, like, 200 level, everybody thought I had left back work. No, guys, I was trying to get a hang of my life. So 200 level semester, I do the best I can. But, there's something that my mom always says, like, when the foundation is already shaky, there's so much somebody can do. You would have to put in a lot of effort to actually build it back up and everything. And that was what it took. It took a lot of effort. And second semester of my 200 level, I failed one course. That course was like 5 units course. I say Jesus. And I had not done my carryover from my 100 level second semester. So at this point, I'm like, My mother was like, you know what? Come back home and write JAMB again. Come back home. And I was like, no. I don't even know where that spirit came from. I was like, no, I'm not going to come back home. I'm not going to write JAMB again. And I remember going to meet the lecturer of a particular course with one of the student support representatives in my school. So the student support center and their counselors you can go and meet. So I went to go and meet one of the lecturers, the lecturer for the course. One of the lecturers, I think she was the main lecturer, and she kept giving these she was not satisfied with some of my answers, and the man, the person that made me had to ask me did you offend this woman? And so I remember going back to meet my guardian, because my guardian was also a counselor student support, and he was like, he thinks I should change course. And I'm like, the first thing he asked me was, do you really want to do nursing, my dear? And this answer was not coming from a place of, I'm tired. I really genuinely did not like nursing. I don't know how, but I always wanted to become a doctor. Now, I'm sure you can say, what's the difference between doctor and nursing? Here's the thing. I don't even think if I went to medicine, I would have cried and I would have run away. That's just the truth. It wasn't like the course was a bad course or anything. I just didn't like it. And so when he asked me, I was like, no. So I was like, why not change course? I was like, after my parents have paid for 2 years, 2 sessions, and I want to change that. I sounded stupid and everything. And he was like, just change. And he was like, he will suggest public health. I said, okay, no wahala, I'll change. And that was how I changed. But guess what? I couldn't change that second semester of my 200 level. So I had to wait till my 300 level. So I did my carryover, and then somehow after the level I could start doing ahead courses. Now here at first, of course, I really didn't know much about public health, so I had to do a lot of research. What's public health entailing? I think my brother was saying something like, don't just pick a course that you think is easier, so that you run away from hard work. And so I had to do a lot of research and get back to everybody in my family. Of course, nobody was happy that I had to change course, especially at so late, 300 level. But I did it. And God was faithful. I really love public health. If you hear me talking about public health outside, you'll be like, I love public health so much. There's just something about being able to help people make informed decisions about their health. And to be honest, you can prevent a lot of sicknesses by just doing certain things in life. I, for one, growing up, had a lot of I used to have cough a lot. So I used to have a lot of coughing fits occasionally and all that thing. My mother found out about ginger and garlic, lemon, and all these home remedies, and that was how we started working on it. So I hardly have cough now. I don't even remember last time I had cough, to be honest. So yeah, it just probably just did it for me. And then at that point, I knew, okay, yeah, I'm still going to graduate with my mates. So let me just get that one from my head. The set, my set goes. I was sad, but I wasn't really sad because I was like, now me put myself let me put myself in this situation. Like I put myself in this situation, so I might as well go and focus on my book. Fast forward again, the set after my set graduates, and that one I cried. I cried. I even think I cried for my set, but like I was like, so I cried for the set after. I cried, Jesus. Then I now had a setback again. I would not say it's a setback. One of my lecturers said I should look at that situation. I remember going back to school one time and seeing him, and he's like, don't look at that situation as a setback. Look at it as a step back to reassess. I'm like, because I was saying, I'm tired. I'm not really gonna put in the effort. He's like, don't look at it as a setback. Look at it as a step back. And I took that thing like they gave me money. Because I was frustrated. So for him to say that for me was like, hold on, wait first. Pause, that kind of thing. So I took it, I took it. So I took it as a step back and everything. So I remember going home when I went for summer again just to do some courses. I felt like if I did these courses like in the normal semester, I might not be able to do it. So I don't know. I had lost faith in myself. So I was really struggling to regain that faith. I was frustrated. I was tired. At this point, I was like, let me just graduate and get out of here. But I didn't want to graduate with just anything. And that was just how I saw it. Like I just wanted. I'm not saying anywhere that graduated with a lesser grade or anything was not serious. But I personally just didn't want to graduate with anything, with just anything and everything. So I said, I was going to get a first class in my final semesters. When I was saying it, I laughed at myself. But I was like, okay, let me pray about it. So I talked to God and I was like, okay, God, this is what I want. And I need your help. So please guide me. First semester came, I hit it. Second semester, that was the test of my patience. Project tested me. Everything was testing me. I literally was in a community and I was really not doing anything. And I remember one day somebody came to and talked to me and she's like, do you still want to continue or why are you not getting it? I'm like, guy, I'm going through it. It is going through me. Like, I don't know. I know how to cope with my stress and I know how I will cope with it. And it's just this thing, like, the way I will cope with it is not the way somebody else will cope with it. She gets. So I'm like, but this one, I could not cope. I was frustrated. I would cry and call my mom or call my brother. Every morning, like I had the corrections and like correction in my project. I would call my brother and I'm like, I don't know what she wants me to do. I'm so tired. I'm so frustrated. And he'd be like, okay, calm down. Maybe you should sleep. I can't take it again. Or you should go and meet her and she can. I don't know what she wants me to do. I was crying almost every morning. I was frustrated. Jesus. I remember having to do something. I think my pretest twice. I was done, basically. And so after that, like this, I'm just like, God, I beg. I was ready to. I was ready to just like, well, let me relax and see where I graduate with. But I was like, I made this promise to myself. I'm going to fulfill it. And I know God is going to help me. So I was putting effort. Effort after effort. And my result came out. I remember going home. I was like, what if? I say, yeah, always what if? I say, me, I know the God that me myself. I know the agreements me and God have. So there's nothing like what if. I know what I'm going to get. And result comes out and I get it. Oh my God. You should see the excitement on my whole family. Like everybody was so happy. And for someone else from on the outside, you might be like, what's so special about it? Like, but for me, I know where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a place of The insults where I don't receive for this life. If I had a book to document the insults that they've given me, it will be over. I'll have like 5 books. So I was like, no, I'm gonna God. Like, I know one prayer I kept praying was that God should prove Himself in my life. That people will not ask, where was your God? And that His glory will shine forth in everything that He's about to do in my life. And so that was just my prayer. I really didn't want much. I just wanted that thing, and that His glory shines through it. That when people hear my story, you're like, oh wow, God can do it for her. God can do it for me. Now, I'm not saying it from a place of pride or a place of pompousness. I'm saying it because you should ask. See, I used to be very scared of asking God for things. Like, I felt like, who am I? But this once, I was like, God, please, like, this is what I want. And I genuinely want this thing. So please, just do it for me. And so when He did it for me, it was like, what? Now, you might be wondering, why is she narrating this her life story for us? No verse. But I'm getting to somewhere, alright? Now, it was in that same final year, like this my final year, that I experienced, I don't even know to call it, but I experienced God's love. He revealed Himself to me in ways that I could never have imagined. Now, I'm the type of person that I like to explore things, and I felt very lonely in this my final year. I felt very lonely. Like, of course, I didn't have much friends, and God brought certain people my way that I could just interact with. And even at that, I still felt that detachment, but I took it with a grain of salt, like a pinch of salt. I don't know. I'm saying green is in my mouth, but yeah, a pinch of salt. And I appreciated it. Now I got godly friendships. I know one of my prayers was like, God, please, I want a godly friends. I want godly friends. And I got godly friendships. I met people that saw me and didn't look at me with disdain. I asked God one time, I was like, God, I'm so lonely. Like, I don't know what to do. Please, like, I just need friends. And I got those friends. Now, it may seem like nothing, but for me, it was everything. I had been depressed before, so I knew the signs of depression. Like, I knew the signs of when you were slipping into depression, and I was slipping into it in my final semester. But I'll be forever grateful to the people that I met, because they were the ones that kept me going. Oh, guy. I know I've said this story on my Twitter, but I need to say it again. I say one day, like this, I was finding it difficult to go to church, and then this day I was like, no, I'm going to go to church despite everything. So I wore my clothes and I went out, but I was really not in the mood that day, and I don't know why. I don't know what made me not be in the mood. I don't know whether it was something I dreamed. I don't even, up to today, I don't remember why, but I think I was just overwhelmed. And so I just went to church. I just wanted to go and sit down and listen to the sermon and everything and get out. And I got to church, and usually when you're doing praise and worship, of course, there's times that you will cry during worship, but you're doing praise. Why are you crying? That's what was happening to me. I cried during the worship. Like, I was just so overwhelmed with emotion. Like, I cried. And then praise came, and I was like, okay, Fee, clean your eyes. Smile. Smile. Don't cry. Just smile. Say what? Rivers of living waters were flowing out of my eyes. But that's just, like, I was crying. And then I remember Ebu, who is my friend. Ebu was like, so I'm in choir, so I was like at the choir seat, and she was there, and she's like, Fee, are you good? I'm like, yes. I wasn't, but okay, yes. So I tried to clean my eye and smile through the tears, but it wasn't working. So she's like, oh, would you like to go out for a while and everything? And I'm like, oh yeah, please. And almost she's like, let it out. I cried. I wept, I cried, but God saw me through. I remember her praying with me that day, and she was like, "Do you know what the issue is?" And I said, "My dear, I don't know. I don't know why I'm crying." And she prayed and she was like, "God, whatever her heart, needs from you, just grant it to her." And then she said something. She's like, "This situation might seem very tough for you right now, this period you're in, but just know that God cares and that God sees you and everything." I was like, you don't know how much I needed to hear this thing. And God came through for me. Now, a couple of weeks back, I think like 2 weeks ago, I went for a conference, and I can tell you for a fact that if I go back in time, I would never be able to go for the conference. And everybody might be saying, "Oh, it's time, you cross these things, everything." See, I'm the only one. I can't be telling everybody, "Oh, this is where I come from, this is what has happened to me in my life." Me, I know where I'm coming from. So I know why these things, I take them as a big deal. Now, I went for this conference. I love this conference, the Future of Health Conference by Nigerian Health Watch. I met amazing people. I was able to listen to amazing people, and just to gain that knowledge on what health, the private sector, what is needed from the private sector, public sector, everything basically. And I was just really grateful for that opportunity. And that's just honestly what made me reminisce. And I'm like, Omo, Finn, you've come a long way. Like, God has really worked in your life. And I was just so grateful to God because you be able to meet people, network with people that on a normal day you will never be able to network with. I literally met someone. I met Niniola Williams, Drasa Health Trust. So Drasa is Dr. Amiyo Adadivo Stella Health Trust. She's the managing director. Niniola is Williams is the managing director. And I was like, "Oh, I'd like to have you on my podcast." And she's like, "Invite me." I'm like, "Oh my God." And then I met Dr. Kemisola, and she is the program director of Nigeria Health Watch. I was able to meet the managing director of Nigeria Health Watch. And it was a beautiful feeling for me. I was so emotional by just being able to be there. Follow Jesus. I had prayed for this day for a long time. When I registered for that conference, I was not expecting I'll be able to go. It was just, let me try. So I had prayed for this day for a long time. I had asked God, I had begged God. And He's finally doing the things that He has promised. That's why when I say God is doing things, you might not see it. I'm going to share something with you guys, as for my family and everything. I had been given a prophecy in 2020. I think it was around November or December. I was supposed to enter the year. I think it was an end of the year prophecy. Was it 2020 or 20? Oh, I forget about 2023. So it was happening in 2022. I can't remember. I'll have to check my journal. And one of what the person said was like, God is trying to build a beautiful masterpiece out of you. So He's still creating that masterpiece. I remember my person said it, I was like, I was holding on to it like, oh, it was gonna happen tomorrow. I was like, God, let it be tomorrow that this will happen. And I remember that time I was praying for vain things and everything. So I was like, this will be for this thing. It didn't happen anything. So now I remember that prophecy and I'm like, God really fulfilled it. I'm still in the works, to be honest. But God really did as He had promised. He made a way. He made a way when there was no way. He opened doors that were shut for me. See, Jesus answers prayers. God answers prayers. I'm saying it again. God answers prayers. The Bible is true. The Bible is true. It says, ask and it shall be given unto you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. Do you realize that the first letters of those words mean this? It says one thing, a word. Ask. 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 Ask with humility. Ask with respect, ask. Just tell him. God answers prayers. The songwriter says prayer is the key. Prayer is the master key. Prayer is the master key. There are some doors you don't have keys to. That prayer will open those doors. It's in prayer that you win the battle. It is in prayer that God opens doors, He changes things. Ask. This is a testimony of grace, one that was filled with distaste, but then God turned it for a beautiful work in His hands. He turned it. He molded this testimony. He molded this story. I'm truly a small girl. Come on, I'm truly a small girl, but I have a very big God, and He's always by my side. And He's always by your side too. So you might look at yourself and like, I can't really want to move. Where am I? See, you are someone. As long as you have Jesus, the Bible says, greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. So don't let the devil or let anyone lie to you. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Even the things that you're scared about the most. Ask God. Tell Him, God, this is what I want. Help me. You don't know what God has in store for you until you begin to tap into the potentials of prayer. And I'm not saying, only prayer is what's going to work for you. You have to commune with God, read your Bible, listen to sermons. But prayer would open doors. Prayer would do everything. See, it's in that place of prayer, if you are struggling as a believer and you go to God in that place of prayer, God, I beg, I lay myself down at a struggle. By there, you will see changes. Pray, Pray, I'm living in my answered prayers, and I know that God is still answering the prayers I have prayed. He's still answering it. But I am beginning to live in my answered prayers, and I'm beginning to see my requests become life. So don't fear God that He will not. Don't. Most lost one God to you. So I'm gonna speak English and not, but you get what I'm trying to say. Don't be afraid to ask. He answers prayers. Jesus answers prayers. There is nothing prayer cannot do, and Jesus answers prayers. Jesus answers prayers. Pray. Jesus answers prayers. Jesus answers prayers. He answers prayers. Hold on to Him. Hold on to Him. Hold on to Him. Hold on to Him. Hold on to Jesus. I love you guys. God loves you, Mom. And I hope that you listen to this VM to the end. Listen to this episode to the end, and you are blessed. And if anything that you ask in His name, He said He will answer. You have that heart request, that desire that you want God to answer, just ask Him. Ask Him today. God loves you guys. Bye.